Okay, here we go. Hey there, random internet strangers. It's Random Crypto Guy. Um, let's get right into it. Let's start off with the dollar as we always do. And we have, looks like some distribution going on here. We got this long wick on the top. This is a daily chart of the dollar. And this buying spree over the past couple weeks looks like it might be slowing down a bit, as what I believe happened was that the Treasury printed out the T-bills that it needed to pay for the stimulus package, and that created a demand in dollars, which that rise in demand caused a lot of the stock markets to tumble a bit as they fell against the United States dollar. And so I believe that's what happened, is that rise in demand created that. And it looks like it's waning down slowly. So this long wick here at the top, that's signs of distribution. Moving on, let's go to Bitcoin as we celebrate a new all-time high. You see that I got rid of a lot of the labels. I just kept the levels that are relevant. The green are the demand levels of the 4-hour. The pink are 1 hour, I believe. I'll have to look. I can't remember which is which. It might be the opposite, actually. And then this here is a daily turncoat, which has developed since we broke through prior all-time high to the new all-time high. So this test here are new buying opportunities coming up here in the coming weeks. This is the daily chart as well. So you can zoom in here a little bit so you can get a better view of it. You can see it tapped into it. Typical retapping into a new supply demand, or supply turn demand for Sam Seiden traders out there. If you've been following me for any length of time, you know that what that means. If not, I'd be willing to direct you in the right direction as to how I develop these boxes and what indicators that I use. And you can do this stuff on your own as well, but these are just potential. It's not automatic certainty. There's no such thing as certainty in a market. It's just probabilities, and it's a high probability that it's going to continue to bounce off of this big box here as the supply. We broke through supply over the weekend to retest it coming up this week before taking off again. Is looking more and more probable as people start buying more, the demand starting to increase with the stimulus money is going out. So I suspect that the continuation on from here. Don't see quite the strength in Ethereum. It tapped off of, we see I have a thin red line here with the weekly and the daily resistance bunched up together. So that's a little bit harder to get through, but it's Ethereum is following Bitcoin's lead, and I suspect it will continue as most the market trends upward and demand continues to increase. Meanwhile, gold is continuing to show more and more downward slide. We hit that level that I was talking about down here, where we're going to probably run into some turbulence here. Down here at the monthly and weekly support, the thin blue line. This was a turncoat area that has now failed, so that's why it was truncated off here. So that turncoat is gone at this point, and so if this does not hold here, this thin blue line doesn't hold, this would be the next stop for gold, is way down here at around 15. If we front run it a little bit, these tend to get front run front ran a little bit, so 1525. This area, might be a little stopping ground along the way. This little wick right here, but these are daily wicks, so they're not as strong. Oh wait, no, that's weekly. Sorry, my bad. That's a weekly wick. So there's a possibility there might be some bounces here, this strong wick here, before heading down here at 1600. So if this thin blue line doesn't hold, I suspect another drop down coming up here. Not looking good for gold. Silver continuing to hold its own. It's still on an upward higher lows. We do start to see some resistance. The supply is holding up in here. I said that around 30 there was some serious selling going on up here in this supply zone, up in this box in particular. But it's continuing to hold its own as demand continues to because it is more of an industrial metal, whereas gold is more of a ornamental than used in industrial. But maybe as gold price drops, maybe it might eventually become more of an industrial metal as people realize that it's not, as it loses its ability to be, or its desire and demand to be a store of value. So something to keep in mind. Oil continuing to crush it, but definitely seeing some buying pressure. It did drop off a little bit, and then we continue, and it popped this zone. So this is now a turncoat area, and so we got to continue probably to look for bounces in here up into this big supply area here. Let's go back, see if we can zoom out. Where this is a old supply area, very old supply area, way back here. Oh, it's a turncoat. It's a large turncoat right in here. So, yeah, it's an interesting. Not my expertise, not my forte. I don't know a lot about it. That would be Shy Girl, to go at Shy Girl on Twitter. That's the person. That's the go-to person for oil. Let's look at the ETH Bitcoin pairing, and see that it's continuing to hold this area here, the thin blue line, and that demand area that I was talking about. It bounced out of it last week, but then returned to it this week. So I'd say it's continuing to hold its own. It's continuing to keep up with Bitcoin. So on average, so that's a good sign for the ETH. And I'm pretty sure that this upward motion was due to the announcement that they were going to implement ZK rollups to help with the fees, and we'll continue to see what Ethereum does. I have my opinions on Ethereum. I think in the long run it's going to be around for quite some time, but it's got a ways to go. There's still a lot of problems with it, and that's why I've decided just to stack sats in the meantime. But I definitely am pro Ethereum as well. I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist. I believe that there's a place for Ethereum. Monero continues to climb, the privacy coin. It's surprising considering that Litecoin coming up here. Let's move to Litecoin and let's see how it did, because of the announcement of Mimblewimble, Litecoin has surged up, putting Mimblewimble allowing privacy transactions onto Litecoin. And if they can do it on Litecoin, that means that they can do it on Bitcoin. And so, as far as like money and transference and things like that, I think Bitcoin is going to be the winner of that as the development continues. But like I said, Litecoin is like the experimental ground for Bitcoin, and at the same time, Ethereum has different applications, and I mean the money is going to be there, but I think that the Ethereum network is going to be evolve into something entirely different. I think Bitcoin is going to take over the monetary network and be the dominant monetary network. But I don't discount Ethereum to be the probably more of hard assets, where people will hold hard assets and tokenization of assets. I think that's coming in the future, but it's a more distant future. I'm talking like 10, 15, 20 years from now, when some of this old school thinking dies out and the new money takes over. I think that will be a transition period. And it's going to take decades for it to happen. It's not something it's very, 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 very long term. But that's, once again, that's why I stack sats while Bitcoin's still affordable. Eventually, I think that it's going to take over the monetary network. XRP continuing to pump and dump. Just, if you're trading this, just look for anything below 30. Used to do that, don't work that way anymore. But anything below 30, right around this area, that's a buy to pump it and then dump it. That's all this coin seems to be good for. Sorry if, XRP army, but that's just my strong opinion. Tesla. Had a little bounce there from last week. I thought it was going to have further downside, but it's a pretty healthy dead cat bounce, but you can see that it's starting to curl over a little bit over the weekend. But at the same time, as we look at the overall market, we're seeing strong trending up moves now that all the dollar demand is dying down from the dollar demand is dying down. Hey, nice alliteration. But from the T-bills that the Treasury printed out. So expect to see another rise into this, and it's continuing to go up. Number go up. Same with NASDAQ. It took the biggest tumble, but then it means it has probably still has a good opportunity to buy in with the NASDAQ. And then Dow Jones is just soaring. It's the value stocks, the boomer stocks, the dividend stocks continues to go up. Although the stock that I hold for my company didn't go up, but it's holding steady. It's not anything I'm worried about. I'm just collecting. I'm just trying to collect as many stocks as I can before I'm actually able to use my Bitcoin and leave and live off the interest on my Bitcoin. And I'll get back to this in a minute. So let's move on to TradingView. What I noticed is that the Bitcoin dominance continues to show an increase in upward pressure. We crossed the threshold and into buying territory, but I don't pay. That's not really a buy and sell thing. This is just about trend and following the trends, and Bitcoin is starting to take over the market again, as I thought it would, because I noticed that right in here that this was starting to meander, was getting altcoin season slowing down a little bit. I don't think it's stopping. It's just that it's not going to do as well as Bitcoin, and I continue to believe strongly that you're not going to see any type of real loss in dominance like it was in 2017 due to the institutional buyers. They're not buying XYZ shitcoin, they're buying Bitcoin. And so that dominance is I think is going to continue to hold strong. We already looked at Bitcoin and Ethereum, so we'll move on to DOT. What I noticed this week is that everything is moving into reaccumulation, whether it's in USDT or Bitcoin. So that's a good sign. Might be a good opportunity for some of these if you haven't got in already. I'm personally staying away from it. If I didn't get in way back here, I'm not really into trying to buy into it again, because as I said, we go back to Bitcoin dominance. I don't see Bitcoin losing another 50, a whole 50% dominance. I don't see that happening. With just the underlying fundamentals don't make sense for that to happen. Same with Link. You can see we've dropped down below the threshold in reaccumulation. Same with Tezos. Everything's going down into reaccumulation. Even my uni is starting to drop down in. This is what I consider to be the strongest, because it is the dominant DeFi market, and that's one of the reasons I bought into it and I held into it, because I knew that it would do well. And I even held. I was underwater for quite some time. I didn't buy at the right time, but live and learn. And the next cycle is when I'll really probably start focusing on altcoins again, and starting to reaccumulation in the bear market, and start doing some. I have some ideas on how to work the altcoin market to really get the most out of it, and I'll get into that in a little bit with when I talk about dollar cost averaging. Anchor, it took a big jump and then pump and dump there. A couple days of pump and dump there. It really took off. That's surprising. I wish I'd held on to my Anchor. I had a lot of these that I dumped at break even. That's another one I held to break even, and regret. And this is one of the things that I learned, and why I learned from the market, to be able to be a little bit more patient and hold these altcoins, these mid-cap altcoins. Let's look at MicroStrategy is back in accumulation. It's starting to pop back up again. It took, like I said, it took right there. Last week I talked about it being an area. This was the area that was probably going to reaccumulate, and sure enough, started reaccumulating, and prices going back up again. GameStop, I was wrong about this one. It continues to climb. It doesn't look too bad, quite honestly. We are starting to see some distribution, crazy wicks at the top and crazy wicks on both sides, but more so on the top. So we are seeing some distribution patterns happening there, but it continues to climb as the Wall Street Bets people, and even my accumulation indicator is dropping back down below here. So I personally, it's not something that I would be in at this time. These are the things that you want to be in before they happen. Doge is actually back in reaccumulation. It's been in for quite some time. Starting to look strong again, looking good. XLM, same thing, reaccumulation. Longer bottom wicks than top wicks. That is reaccumulation, but not looking bad. We already talked about XRP. Cardano is not looking as strong. You see how it's drooping? Get that drooping price action. That doesn't look as strong, so you might want to wait on this one a little bit. Here's a turncoat area down a little bit lower, down below $1. That's probably where it's going to pick back up again, around $1 if it's going to. So that was it. That's it in a nutshell. Am I recording? Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure I'm recording. Going back here. Let's go back here to with the dollar cost averaging. This is something that I'm working on. I've asked some programmers to help me with this, and it's what's going to be a dollar cost averaging. What's the word I'm looking for? Maximizer. And what I'm looking at is, as price increases, you want to actually be buying less and less Bitcoin, as far as dollar cost averaging, and then taking the percentage of USD and saving that off to the side to buy dips. And so you do your dollar cost averaging every week. It's a weekly chart, and as price is trending upward, you're going to decrease your how much Bitcoin you're buying and increase how much USD. Now, you'd think it'd be the opposite, but we want to buy things when they're on sale. We want to buy things when they're a bargain. And so I'm working with, hopefully I'll be able to find a programmer to help me with this, because I'm not that good at programming, but I'm good at coming up with ideas. And this is the one that I'm coming up with. And then as the price decreases, if we get into a bear market, you would increase your Bitcoin buying percentage. If you're using USD, for example, you could use euro or yen, or it doesn't matter which. So the percentage of USD to buy will trend higher as price gets lower. And then when it reaches a threshold point below this line here, this moving average here, this is the 200, this is the 21 moving average, this is the 200. Then all that USD that you've saved up, that's when you want to collect on it. And then you would, boom, just buy in. And I haven't back tested this yet, so I want to develop and see. And this would make it really simple for people, where you just put your crosshair on the candle at the end of the week, and it would tell you how much USD you would put aside in one account. And you could put it in an interest-bearing account like Celsius or BlockFi or something, Nexo, whatever one you like. I think Celsius is the best right now. It's the easiest and the best. Then the other part would be you would buy Bitcoin at a percentage, and that percentage would increase or decrease based upon the slope of this line, how fast price was moving up. The more it was moving up, the less you want to buy. And these aren't very reactive, so I'm looking for a more reactive moving average like this. What's called a Zazer FV. I don't know what that stands for, some Russian thing, but you can see it's probably a moving average with a JMA smoothing, and you can see that the slope would turn down. It turns down very quickly to buy the dips, so that your percentage would quickly move up to be able to buy more Bitcoin during these dips, and then tell you, okay, don't buy so much, boom, buy a lot. Okay, don't buy so much. So if you follow this line down here, you'd be like, don't buy so much. Okay, start buying a little bit. Increase, keep buying more. Boom, buy that dip. Buy the dip. So when we got to this line, because you want this line to be smooth, but you want your DCA line to react a lot faster, but you want this line to be smooth, so all that USD that you saved up, put into your savings account, preferably an interest-bearing account. It doesn't have to be, but you can just hold it in your wallet, whatever you feel safest with. And then boom, when you hit the dip, when you hit these levels. And like I said, I haven't back tested this, but intellectually it made sense to me. So, and just wanted to throw it out there into the Etherverse and see what comes back to me. I just, I try to give my stuff away for free, and then eventually, if my stuff helps you make money, throw me an ETH or throw me a Bitcoin, or whatever it is that you feel like that my information would be worth. So this is what I'm working on as of right now. I haven't. I just started this week, and I didn't get to deep dive on Nexo as much as I wanted to give you a full report on that. So I'm going to take another week to do my report on Nexo. I said I would do it this week, but I just didn't have time. So, and then this idea popped into my head over this week, and it kind of consumed me a little bit. So that's all I have for today. Thanks, and stack sats.